What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark, MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and we're back with another Movies with Pride. Pride Month. And I'm stepping outside the usual comfort zone to cover some more recent releases that fall into the LGBTQ zone. And this is God Save the Queens. Yes. Yes, Queen. uh, so yeah, it does not have audio description from anywhere that I can find. It seems like this movie has limped onto video on demand, which is disappointing because I actually enjoyed the movie. Spoiler alert. Click like and subscribe, by the way, please. Thank you. I love you. Uh, it's a little hard to follow, I'll admit, without audio description, but it had a lot of moments that I liked. So in general, I'm positive on this, but I can't come up with a grade. So unfortunately, my grade is not going to be great at the end, but it's not going to also like be negative. And I do think about things like this is a film centered around drag queens, and I don't know what their face is. You know what I'm saying? Do they have their face on? I have no idea. What are they wearing? What are It's such a huge part of. I recently started rewatching Drag Race because of audio description to kind of see like I'd watched Drag Race before I lost my vision because it's been on forever. Some of these shows have just been on forever. Um, and there's such a huge part of that is what is the look? You know, what are you serving? All that kind of stuff. And when you take that element away, then it's just sort of like sassiness. That's what it is. And Drag Race doesn't have a ton of time to develop uh, you know, deep thoughts from people and these stories and these backstories. It's a fluffy entertainment show. But what God Save the Queens does is it takes a lot of the people who were on Drag Race. I don't know who all of them are. Like I said, I giant gap in seasons. I think the last season I watched had Adore Delano on it. Um, so if you want to know, I'm watching currently All Stars, but that doesn't mean that I know some of these people came from because I recognize the names. And in talking with people of my culture, like I don't remember Alaska Thunderfuck, but that is an impossible to forget name. that is that's a name that makes a statement. You know, I think that's the best part about being a drag queen is getting to choose the name. You know, coming up with the name. Like, what is it? And you're like Alaska Thunderfuck, and like, oh my god, yes. I love that it's on IMDb. Like that's it. Like that is the name that you can search for. It's amazing. Anyway, not the star of the film, but um, yeah. So it's a somewhat sobering and simple movie about queens in therapy and going through these stories and hearing the stories told and them working their shit out. There's a fantastic monologue at the end of the movie, like toward moment, not the dead end of the movie, but almost the end of the movie, delivered by one of the queens. It was just amazing. I just thought it was great, you know. And but it is navigating through gaps of me going, I don't know what's happening, I don't know where I am, those kind of things. And I don't want to assume always that a queen is in drag. You know what I'm saying? That they're wearing uh all the time, 24/7. Um and we do have plenty of queens who also transition, and I don't know who has transitioned in this film, so I don't want to use anybody's pronouns incorrectly. A whole bunch of things that I think could have been made uh, more clear through audio description because I get names, I get pronouns, you know, she walks to the car, he walks to the car, you know, those kind of things. It gets kind of interesting too in talking about a movie starring drag queens because oftentimes we use the term she, even if the performer's pronouns are he. So he, him, you know, it's so I it's such an interesting needle to thread, figuring out how do you describe, and do you use, if you have a character who is out of drag and in drag, do you use their real name, Jordan, you know, and then when they step into drag, do you use their drag name? Like if they're flipping it on and off, like if it is a character. Otherwise, if it's a character that always presents one way, then sure. Uh, uh, I know drag performers who I live in Orlando. I know drag performers, and but I don't know drag performers who are not trans who are always in drag 24/7. So like I have friends that I call them by their out of drag name, but I'm aware of what their drag name is. Like I have a friend who's Mark and drag name would be Natalia. I'm not gonna tell you the whole name. But yeah, so if I see Mark, I'm out of drag, which is most of the time. And I'm gonna use Mark. But if I say Natalia, then I'm gonna assume Natalia. So it's very much that kind of thing. I would be intrigued to know where an audio description track would go, and I think it's worth having conversations on it too. This is why I think filmmakers should be interested and involved in audio description too, because it's a conversation we haven't had. Which is why I want to review films like this, is because how do we do this? Where do we go? You know, when you're presenting something like Drag Race, you're presenting a competition that is about drag. It is about the queen. It's not really about the person. The person doesn't win so much. The person under the clothing, under the you know, all of the makeup and the hair, and that person doesn't really win. Uh, it's what you put out on the runway, and what you do in the lip syncs and the looks. That's what wins you Drag Race. So for people who have like an on-off switch, so to speak, and then we put that into a movie, how do we navigate that? So, and I can't think of too many times of representation where I've heard audio description and we flipped that switch. Like To Wong Fu, which is not the best representation because I realize those are all just like straight men in drag. Uh, just, they're not drag queens who are not LGBTQ, anything, but still, to a lot of people, an iconic movie. That movie just, they are in the whole time, and so the audio description uses their drag names for the whole duration of the movie, because part of that is that they have to maintain their drag look so that people will continue to think they're women, like passing as women and not drag queens, in that small town full of people who have no culture, I guess. So I would have been really interested in hearing the audio description track to this. I had a little bit of a hard time navigating it. I think the stories, there are, the thing about drag queens is you just put them on camera and go, and they can create a lot of entertainment. There's just a lot of fun, like back and forth commentary, reactions to things, you know, just, it's inherently an entertaining film. So I just enjoyed the vibe of the film in general, even though I was having a little bit of a hard time connecting the dots. I felt like I was putting a puzzle together, but somebody stole like a third of the pieces, and I was never going to be able to finish the puzzle, but I was really enjoying putting together as much of it as I could. So that's something to be said for that at the end of the day. I think because of the nature of it too, it became a little bit hard to follow and jump around from person to person, because it's less like the People's Joker where there's like one person centered at it. So I was following like one like primary lead I wasn't really sure if there was a lead here. I kind of felt like maybe there was, but it also felt like because of the group therapy session setting, maybe there isn't. So, I don't have a ton of thoughts other than the fact that it made me think about what would the audio description track do, and like, because I've started getting to Drag Race, and I'm thinking, okay, so this is primarily about the costumes and how do the costume, how the outfits work in this. What are you wearing? That's what people want to know. Uh, it's uh, how's your makeup? And the funny thing is that it always has to come from a neutral place. So the person doing the audio description can't really make commentary on it because that's what the judges are there for. So if something is a hot mess, the audio description just has to present it as is and just say, unless that's part of like the plot point of something or like the gag or the joke. If a queen put on the wrong wig and went out on stage with something that didn't, and that was part of the joke, was that they couldn't find their wig at the time, so they put on the wrong wig, and it somehow became part of the plot story or scene or whatever it is we're describing, then I guess it's important to point out that element. But you're not just going to point out that somebody's makeup doesn't look good in audio description, or the outfit looks a mess. So no, you just have to present it as is and try to describe what it is in the best way possible. So I would have liked this, I think, with audio description. I think I would have, and it would have been an interesting thing to see and have the conversation about how do we describe this? What is it that we do? So it's an interesting story. If you have an opportunity to sit down and rent it or watch it, or if it's on a streaming service, I think you should check it out if you're sighted. If you're not sighted, I can't recommend this. I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't hate me. But I know it's Pride Month and I'm supposed to be like, watch all the queer content you possibly can. I can't recommend this to blind and low vision people. It was a bit of a struggle, even though, like, I'm vibing. I picked it up. Like, I like this movie. I would not recommend it to anyone who wasn't blind. So yeah, I just think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for people. If you are blind and low vision and you're like desperate to seek this movie out, maybe wait till it comes on a streaming platform that you pay for already, or Tubi, which is always a possibility. A lot of things just wind up on Tubi one day. So hopefully this gets more attention, though, because it deserves it. It also deserves attention from the community, because this is not a 5 point something or whatever. It's not a movie that deserves to be. We need to boost IMDb scores, yo. It needs to be moved up the chart. So we gotta do more with that. So, God save the queens. Yes, please. Would be my answer. Yes, please save them. I don't know from what, but if they're in danger, please save them. We need more of them. But unfortunately, yeah, my grade is unwatchable due to lack of audio description. I'm sorry. It just is. That's where we are now. So yeah, I don't have a grade for this. I wouldn't. But happy Pride Month, and hopefully this review made you think a little bit more about God Save the Queens. Checking it out. I wish I could describe it more, but I do it. This is as best as I could follow it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were moments that I liked, little comments and quips back and forth, but I struggled with this. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.